The python managed to catch an antelope and deal with it, but then a lioness appeared. She doesn't care about the snake's size and its strength. The predatory cat easily took the python's prey. The reptile had to retreat to avoid becoming a meal. Unfortunate, isn't it? The python tried to resist, but the lioness quickly demonstrated who owns these hunting grounds. And we will show you other stories when snakes faced unexpected resistance. This large venomous snake wasn't afraid of these small, cunning creatures running through the forest in search of food. It's a shame. This is a raccoon dog, known for its astonishing agility and veracity. Despite its facial markings resembling a raccoon, this animal is a distant relative of foxes. Even though it's small, it proved brave, as witnessed by the reptile. It attempted to fight the adversary, but the dog retaliated with remarkable tenacity. When the beast grabbed the snake, it counterattacked, but the raccoon dog's incredible reaction speed allowed it to evade. It spat out the snake, dodging its strike, yet it didn't retreat. Instead, the predator approached the reptile again, studying it carefully. Just watch how keenly the animal reacts to the snake's slightest movements. Ready to jump back at any moment, it, however, develops its attack and seizes the snake again, this time by the head. A bite at the base of the neck breaks the snake's spine, preventing it from injecting its victim and inflicting critical damage. In the end, this pair of charming creatures now has lunch. The hedgehog angered a venomous snake, which immediately launched an aggressive attack on the nearby creature. However, the hedgehog didn't lose composure and resisted the opponent. It curled into a ball, leaving the poisonous reptile with only the option of poking its needles from any side and height. The rattlesnake began circling the hedgehog, searching for a flaw in its defense. Finally, the reptile had enough. A lightning-fast bite, but the venomous fangs couldn't penetrate the dense layer of needles and tough fur. The hedgehog managed to escape. The snake had to slither away. It didn't know who it was dealing with. Now the reptile's mouth would ache for a long time due to encountering the sharp needles of the hedgehog during this very foolish attack. And the hedgehog calmly watches it go. It seems like it was peacefully dozing all this time. Such resilience deserves your like, doesn't it? The raccoon is in a battle with a venomous viper. The raccoon, still very young and small, may seem in trouble, desperately needing help due to its swift movements with its front paws. However, it's not panic or a last-ditch attempt to escape an inevitable fate. This is a tactic. The raccoon relies on its sharp teeth and supplements jaw actions with sharp and soft blows with its paws, reminiscent of a massage. The raccoon isn't trying to tear the snake apart with its claws. Instead, the creature simply keeps the opponent on the ground, preventing it from counterattacking while the fangs do the main work. The battle takes place at a very close distance, with the raccoon literally lying on the opponent. Could it really avoid the venomous fangs at such a range? Turns out, it can. Such close contact allows the raccoon to react instantly to every move of the opponent. The damage inflicted by the creature to the reptile is critical. It can barely move and is gradually losing strength, but is ready to fight to the end. Therefore, the clever raccoon jumps back to avoid unnecessary risks. It grabs the snake by the tail, but the reptile no longer has the strength to wriggle and reach the enemy with its venomous teeth. The raccoon notices this and finishes off the opponent. Here comes another small creature down the fence. Does it really want to help our hero? It's amusing to watch as the victorious snake slayer is unwilling to share its prey with a relative and drags the reptile's body away, trailing behind like a string. The Fennec foxes are renowned for their distinctive appearance. To make thermoregulation more efficient, they've evolved huge, sharp ears, while their bodies are small with short paws relative to their heads. This makes Fennecs look incredibly cute. but not for the desert snake. This snake didn't know what it was dealing with, otherwise it might have behaved more actively or, conversely, tried to hide. Instead, the reptile took a wait-and-see position, allowing the Fennec to study it and choose the optimal angle for attack. Neither the snake nor we expected such speed from the small creature. The Fennec attacks like lightning. The reptile tries to resist, but the nimble fox easily dodges counterattacks, grabs the snake with its jaws, tears its scales, inflicts deep wounds, and robs it of strength for further assistance. The Fennec isn't in a hurry, but doesn't delay either. It conserves energy and water reserves in its body while acting aggressively. The combination of these qualities achieved only through the precision of each moment, composure, and astonishing accuracy of strikes. The Fennec is aware of the danger of the snake's venom and avoids the snake's fangs at all costs, yet acts incredibly confidently. Thanks to this relentless pressure, the snake loses this battle and becomes a real meal for the desert predator. This little and cute hedgehog seems unprepared for desert life. The only chance to survive a snake encounter is to run as fast and far away from such an enemy, right? Hedgehogs are predators that usually hunt insects and other invertebrates. This hedgehog had quite a challenging day. It managed to catch a centipede, but apart from that, there was no other food nearby. It was very hot, so the little one dug a hole in the sand. Just a couple of inches, a few centimeters deep, the temperature was quite comfortable. This saved the hedgehog from a sudden owl attack. The hedgehog was lucky, but admit it was a day full of stress. That's why at night, the irritated hedgehog decided that he had had enough of insects and attacked the desert snake. The venomous, aggressive, and super fast snake definitely didn't expect such a turn of events. The hedgehog is small enough for the reptile to consider him dinner, but the creature is not afraid of the opponent and just goes on the offensive. In this story, the snake is not the hunter, but the prey, and the hedgehog makes that clear with its behavior. The reptile didn't anticipate such a bold and straightforward attack. It attempts to bite and inject venomous fangs into the prey's body, but is unaware of what it's messing with. Note that this viper, right here, is small compared to a human, but still manages to be intimidating even through the screen. However, the hedgehog is a rather small creature itself, and its eyes are at the same level as the snake's eyes. For the hedgehog, the reptile is a huge opponent twice its size. Yet when the viper lunges to strike, the hedgehog doesn't panic. Instead, it fearlessly and swiftly reacts. It defends itself with quills that the snake's venomous fangs cannot penetrate to reach the animal's skin. Then the hedgehog counterattacks, using its strong jaws to quickly deal with the snake. At night, the cold-blooded snake isn't as fast as during the day. Its reaction is slowed due to the low ambient temperature, and the hedgehog's jaws easily crack the chitinous armor of the giant centipede, and they handle the snake's scales just as effortlessly. Alright, a hedgehog might handle a desert viper, but a black cobra? I mean, that's an unbeatable foe, right? Turns out, not quite. This hedgehog noticed a huge and intimidating snake that assumed a defensive stance and spread its hood. The aggressive reptile that can bring down a lion with just one bite. But the hedgehog pays it no mind. It looks at the snake from bottom to top and calmly, straightforwardly, and confidently advances towards it. The cobra is surprised and hovers over the opponent in a last attempt to intimidate it. The hedgehog nearly crawls under the cobra's hood, sniffs its belly, and disdainfully moves aside. The reptile's threat made no impression on the little one. It retreated not out of fear, but simply because it's inconvenient to attack the cobra's broad hood with its narrow jaws. Its tail is a whole other story. The hedgehog immediately sinks its sharp needle-like teeth into it. They embed into the reptile's body, and it starts writhing, attacking the audacious adversary at the same time. However, the needles securely protect the hedgehog from the snake's bite. No matter how potent the reptile's venom is, it can't do anything until it enters the victim's body. The needles snugly fit together and cover the tough fur, forming a reliable armor. Moreover, when the snake strikes such defense, it injures itself because the needles are sharp and deeply embed into the cobra's body. Meanwhile, the hedgehog continues tearing the scales on its tail, biting deeper into its prey. The cobra manages to slither away and escape, but only due to its size. It's 4 times larger than the hedgehog, which was biting its tail until the very last moment. Backing down from such a tiny adversary is a disgrace for one of the most venomous, cold-blooded predators on the planet. A brightly colored bird with a yellow-green body and a bluish head, small in size with a thick beak. Overall, it doesn't really look like a predator, but right now it's behaving like a furious hunter. Watch as it swoops down on the venomous snake, delivering fierce strikes with its sharp beaks. The reptile is bewildered by such aggression, and the feathered foe caught the snake amidst a crumbled hillside, where the uneven terrain with sharp edges prevents the reptile from maneuvering or quickly striking in different directions. The snake is trapped and can only attempt to retreat, while the bird showers it with a barrage of attacks. But if you think this bird simply took advantage of a lucky tactical positioning, then watch this brutal showdown on a level road. A dangerous snake, hunting the bird, attacked our feathered hero. It was a big mistake, and the reptile will pay dearly for it. The feathered hero doesn't attempt to escape, but delivers a fierce counterattack, hitting the snake right in the eye with its sharp beak. The bird even lifts the snake's head by the eye socket off the ground to make sure it has deprived the enemy of vision, at least from one side. In this position, the reptile can't reach the bird with its venomous fangs. The bird releases the snake, shocked by such aggression. It expected to have a hearty meal, but instead, it angered a truly formidable fighter. The snake is quite large, and dealing fatal wounds to it with such a small bird is too challenging and risky. However, the eye strike significantly impairs the snake's spatial orientation. Moreover, this reptile is in pain and cannot hunt effectively. Perhaps with its bold approach, the bird managed not only to defend itself, but also to save potential future victims from this snake. A worthy resistance against the aggressor, don't you agree? Cheetahs are the fastest runners among all the animals on the planet, but that doesn't make them invulnerable at all. Here, a family of cheetahs encountered lions. Mighty, mature males are about 4 times more massive, so it's not really surprising that they develop a speed half that of cheetahs. But their agility and ability to gain speed at lightning speed could not be underestimated. These cheetahs let the enemy get too close to them, and paid the price. To gain maximum speed, the spotted cats need only a couple of seconds, but the lions did not give their rivals this amount of time. While the cheetah was just picking up speed, the lion was already rushing at him like a live battering ram, and the huge cat knocked the opponent off his paws and instantly knocked him to the ground. The cheetah fought back, trying to hit the lion's muzzle with its clawed paws, but the advantage in strength of the larger cat is huge. The lion quickly crushed the opponent with powerful blows of its paws, after which he brutally broke his neck with a bite of its strong jaws. The rest of the cheetahs had to retreat, especially since there are 2 male lions here. They showed the runners who was the most dangerous predator out here. 4 hunting dogs noticed the lizard and immediately rushed at the reptile. But they clearly underestimated their opponent, most of whose body was hidden by muddy water. The lizard turned out to be much cooler than the predators thought it was. When she fought back, it became clear that the length of the reptile's body is about 1.5 times larger than that of any of the dogs. But there were 4 of them, and they were aggressive, especially on their own territory. Therefore, the dogs continued to attack. Well, it's your own fault. The lizard uses water as its main shelter. She dives under the algae and becomes almost invisible. Nevertheless, we must give the dogs their due. They turned out to be real brave men, and one of them rushed into the water to this monster while the others patrolled the shore. But to no avail, it did not work out defeating the lizard. The dogs chased the reptile for quite a long time until it finally got tired. The reptile made a lightning dash to the side, and probably by accident, she twisted her tail and hit one of the dogs in the face. Or maybe this slap was part of a defensive tactic? Or was the reptile just showing the dogs how much she despised them? When lions gather to hunt, they are a force to be reckoned with, especially if males join the females. But the rhinoceros is not the kind of beast that will easily surrender even to such enemies. These huge herbivores may look sleepy and slow, but in fact, they turn out to be incredibly fast runners and aggressive fighters. Rhinos have poor eyesight, so they can let a predator get close enough to them. The lions probably thought they had scared the rhinos and made them freeze in place in fear. Not at all. The herbivores just saw the predators too late. But when they finally saw it, the most interesting thing began. The lions should not have run into the displeasure of these giants. Rhinos respond to any threat with an aggressive and furious attack. A rhinoceros is more than 10 times heavier than an adult male lion, and a lioness versus a rhinoceros is like a kitten. But it seems the predatory cats do not understand what a huge advantage in strength such a massive herbivore gives. Well, the rhinos will explain it to them. Lions attack prey from different sides and try to surround it. But by causing whole clouds of dust, the rhinos are able to stop almost instantly and turn around for an impressive counterattack. Their main weapon is their horn. It's only one, but it's very sharp and long. Terrible blows from the bottom up can lift a lion into the air as if it were a kitten. In addition, even a light hit of the horn on the enemy's body leads to terrible stab wounds, which often end fatally for the enemies of these herbivorous giants. But this is not all that is in the arsenal of the mighty beasts. Rhinos prefer ramming attacks, and in this, they have reached the pinnacle of skill. You definitely don't expect such maneuverability with them, but an adult rhinoceros is able to quickly change the direction of its movement, shake its head towards the enemy, or simply just trample it. And the powerful and very thick, hard skin acts perfectly as a natural body armor, withstanding the blows of the clawed paws or even mature male lions. Even one rhinoceros can literally scatter a group of several lions and lionesses. And if there are two herbivores, they will effectively protect and cover each other. Although in exceptional cases, lions can defeat such an opponent, as you can see. They are not in front of you. Here, the rhinoceros is clearly winning, and the lions are only lucky enough to avoid their ramming blows. When a cat is sunbathing, it should not be disturbed at all. Just look at this furry little charmer. Except this kitty's got claws, and she is not afraid to use them. When two dogs pass by, they shouldn't have bullied this cat. She endured it for a couple of seconds, of course, and then got up and just threw one of the offenders into the pool. That's what effective problem solving and communication is called. A fox is a prey for a dog. Some breeds were bred specifically for fox hunting. For example, dachshunds. And if this dog, which looks like a little wiener dog, can hope with a fox in her hole, then this large black dog is able to just tear apart its opponents in general in 3 seconds, isn't it? Except the dog doesn't know who he's messing with. Foxes are incredibly fast and agile animals. This red-haired predator takes off like a racing car. Maybe the fox is not the fastest animal in the world, but his ability to accelerate is outstanding. In addition, due to its small mass, the fox changes direction faster. Combined with the natural agility and maneuverability, this makes him almost elusive. But the main thing is still the cunning of the red predator. Pay attention. The fox does not just run away from a large dog in a panic, but tracks the movements of the enemy and reacts to them in time. Has the dog stopped? So the fox can too. Did the dog attack? Then the fox will bounce back. A large hunting dog is about 3 times more massive than an opponent and will be able to break the fox's necks if he grabs it. But it seems that for the redhead, this chase is just a game. In fact, the fox is not only having fun as an adrenaline-addicted biker, He also uses a trick to save his energy. By accurately calculating the trajectory of the enemy's movement and stopping when the dog does so, the fox retains maximum strength. He is tough, but not indefinitely, so it is important for him not to panic and not try to break away from his pursuer. After all, there may be beaters ahead, an ambush of other dogs, or a hunter with a gun. The fox understands this and is not going to allow himself to be driven like a panicked rabbit. The dog is furious, breaking into a run again and again in an attempt to catch prey. But he can't reach such a nimble beast. But then something completely amazing happens. When the dog gets tired of this running around, it allows itself to turn its back on the fox. And this is a big mistake. This miniature beast may not be a super fighter, but it is not afraid to attack the offender if the opportunity presents itself. As a result, the fox grabs the dog by the groin with his fangs. The dog reacts instantly, but the red-haired beast dodges even at this close range. The dog has learned his lesson and will no longer neglect this opponent. And here, the fox generally trolls a huge Kangai. This breed belongs to the strongest herding dogs in the world. 3 Kangaus can fight a bear. A fox should tremble and panic at the mere sight of such a powerful enemy, should it not? No way. This clever wild hunter immediately noticed that the Kangol was on a chain. Therefore, right in front of the eyes of the heavyweight dog, struck by such arrogance, the fox calmly surveys the territory, runs around, and seems to tease the enemy. The Kangol rushes forward but can't really do anything, because the chain is holding it securely. The fox is also at risk because he did not really measure the length of the leash. But the reaction speed does not let the wild predator down, and he dodges the enemy's fangs.